Many species were introduced to another different environment by humans. The majority of them did not survive due to the inability to adjust to the new environment. Those which thrived usually continued to reproduce. Such unintentional introduction often threatens native species and their natural habitats. And some of the invading species, such as the apple snail and red imported fire ant, have caused serious problems in Taiwan. These beautiful birds are red-billed blue magpies, which are native to China, the Indochina Peninsula, and India. They were found near the Wuling area in Taiwan in 2002. The red-billed blue magpie looks very similar to the Taiwan endemic species, the Formosan blue magpie. The observations have raised great concerns about the potential threat to the native species in Taiwan. Many people have urged government officials to take immediate action to prevent another ecological disaster. Formosan blue magpies live in mountain forest areas at elevations below 1,200 meters all over Taiwan. The breeding period is between March and July each year. The way Formosan blue magpies take care of their young is very unique and thus is called helpers at the nest, which means the fledglings are raised by the adults of the family. The family group consists of the direct descendants and their relatives. The red-billed blue magpie and the Formosan blue magpie not only look alike, but also share similar habitats, food habits, make similar sounds, as well as demonstrate similar behaviors to their youngsters. They both display strong territorial behavior. Look at how this squirrel, an uninvited visitor, was chased away by a flock of exotic magpies. One can tell the differences between the two similar species by examining the following: color of the head, the abdomen, the back, the iris, and the size of the body. There are also other characteristics to tell them apart. For example, the Formosan blue magpie has black on its head, whereas the red-billed blue magpie has a streak of white at the center of its head, and is white from the chest down. The feathers of the Formosan blue magpie are also a brighter blue color than the red-billed blue magpie. The Formosan blue magpie has crystal clear yellow color for its iris, whereas the red-billed blue magpie is orange, and the Formosan blue magpie is also larger in size. Red-billed blue magpies have been living in the Wuling area for 5 years, but it wasn't until 2006 that it was first reported by some birdwatchers and then the mass media. It then received immediate attention from the government. This exotic species, the red-billed blue magpie, was first found in the Wuling area in 2002. At that time, there were only 5 birds spotted, but now there are more than 20. In addition to the rapid reproduction, they also expanded their territory. Some of them will have 2 nests during the breeding season. When there were fewer natural predators where they lived, they would soon spread to other areas, which is a concern for many. Both the red-billed blue magpie and the species native to Taiwan, the Formosan blue magpie, belong to the family of Corvidae. Since they share similar habitats and food habits, if the red-billed blue magpie population continues to grow, their invasion will threaten the Formosan blue magpie. Of deep concern is potential hybridization between species, which will change the gene pool for the native species, the Formosan blue magpie. How did the red-billed blue magpie get to Taiwan? They are not capable of flying such long distances, nor do they migrate like other birds. They might have been smuggled into Taiwan and later abandoned by their owners, ending up in the Wuling area. In order to prevent the fast spread of the red-billed blue magpie population, which would be another exotic species invasion and cause a serious threat to the Formosan blue magpie's survival, in December 2006, after concerted efforts, the government decided to start to eradicate the exotic species in Taiwan.
红嘴蓝雀到台湾以后，假如说它没有跟台湾的特有的蓝雀杂交的话，它只是竞争台湾蓝雀需要的生存空间跟资源。那还好，这个问题还没有扩大之前，相关单位就采取了必要的措施。那这样子呢，也许就可以避免未来有更进一步问题的产生。
The staff of the Endemic Species Research Center observed red-billed blue magpies in the Wuling area and found that they are very aggressive in terms of guarding their territory, especially during the breeding season. When there is any threat nearby, they will make warning sounds to warn others. They have routine routes and areas they feed in. Their nests are found in this osmanthus tree, and one nest was spotted near the bus station with 4 eggs in it already. Maybe it is near hatching time. The parents are busy sitting on the nest and turning the eggs, but the staff are working on eradicating the reproduction. This red-billed blue magpie family consists of 5 adults. They are not fearful of people, and they frequently are found near meadows on farms. Papaya and mealworms were used as bait and were placed at the same place each day on the ground to get them used to being fed. Then, the staff could closely observe their behavior and travel routes. They are early risers, and the wide open areas are where they feed and play. A week later, the CCD camera, which was set above the nest, showed that the nestlings had grown big enough to leave. So the staff had to hurry up to set up the traps, or it would be much more difficult once they flew away. The staff learned from these observations about how they live and has successfully set up bait, which are well liked by the red-billed blue magpie. To set the traps requires taking special steps to avoid being discovered by the magpies, or all the effort will be wasted. A bow net was set where the papaya used to be placed. And on the way back to the nest, a mist net was set up. With the help of the trees and shadows, the mist net is not easily noticed. The parent returned. It saw the papaya and went for it. At first, when he saw the bow net, it sensed something was not right and was reluctant to go for the delicious papaya. But finally, it could not resist the bait. Suddenly, the bow net did what was expected. And on the other side, the mist net also captured another parent bird. Initially, the staff thought that the lucky ones who escaped might come back to help, but out of surprise, they just watched from a distance, which made trapping them much harder than expected. The nest was taken down carefully, and the nestlings taken out of it. They soon will be sent to the Endemic Species Research Institute in Jiji, Nantou County with their parents. To begin a 5-hour-long journey, they need to be fed, since their parents will not be able to take care of their needs. These fledglings do not seem to understand what the future will bring. As soon as the staff arrived at the Endemic Species Research Institute, they relocated the adult birds. At first, the mother magpie seemed withdrawn and stayed in the corner of the cage. But when her fledglings were placed in the same cage, she recovered quickly and took immediate actions to take good care of her offspring. As the fledglings grew, they no longer just stayed inside the nest. They acted like other blue magpies, which had grown up in the natural environment and would hang out near the nest. Even in this tiny space, the mother magpie would show the fledglings how to fly and look for food. These young birds jump, fly, and play, and sometimes look at the camcorder and wonder what this is all about. There were 3 red-billed blue magpies still wandering in Wuling. They had already learned from the previous experience. They would not stay at one particular place for any prolonged period of time. They soon flew higher than what they normally did. The papaya and mealworms no longer interested them. Breeding season was not yet finished, and the remaining 3 red-billed blue magpies continued to build a nest and lay eggs. Of course, possible nesting sites had been watched closely. This time, the eggs will not be allowed to hatch, or the problem will be a lot worse. The few remaining magpies became very cautious, and the bow net could no longer work, which made the capturing much harder than before. The first time, they were not afraid, but this time they knew. So it seemed luck would be needed to trap them. We were lucky to capture another one, which was brought back to the Endemic Species Research Institute. After the long ride, the red-billed blue magpie was tired. After receiving an intravenous fluid infusion, it rests in the cage. Ever since then, the remaining 2 red-billed blue magpies had become more suspicious. Only occasionally did they come down to the ground to look for food. Meanwhile, the Taichung County government reported that someone spotted a red-billed blue magpie in the town of Dajia. Then the report was immediately referred to the Endemic Species Research Center in Nantou. Right away, the staff began to investigate the area, which is less than 10 meters above sea level. Even more surprisingly, the couple was comprised of a red-billed and a native Formosan blue magpie. It's hard to imagine how they met each other. This nest was built not far from the ground, and there were 3 hybrids in it. In order to get closer to the nest, the staff was attacked by the Formosan blue magpie, which is more aggressive than the red-billed blue magpie. Since the nestlings were still too young, the staff decided to come back in a week to capture them. This time the staff was well prepared and proceeded as he did in Wuling. They will use the bow net to capture them and the mist net to stop them from escaping. When the trap was set up, the Formosan blue magpie was trapped first by the mist net. The red-billed blue magpie witnessed what had happened and started to hide in the nearby area. But she had to take care of the nestlings in the nest. She needed food, so she had to get back to near the mist net area where she could find food. Then she was captured by the trap. At last, the staff put up the ladder and removed the blue magpie fledglings from the nest.
台湾蓝雀跟大陆的这个红嘴蓝雀杂交的这个问题呢，现在因为及时采取了措施，所以问题不会很严重。 那如果说这个问题我们没有及时采取措施，它们产生的后代就让我们原来台湾蓝雀特有的这种基因会被你可以说是污染了，或者是说它的特有性被稀释了。像这种问题，其实我们在另外的鸟里面就已经看得见。台湾的特有种画眉，因为跟大陆的画眉多年的杂交，在野外族群你就可以看见有很多杂交的个体在那边活动。那如果说这个外来的基因一旦进入到一个族群里面，你想要把它移除，其实是非常的困难。
The interbreeding blue magpies will have mixed characteristics from their biological parents. So they might have white heads, and the color of irises might be something between yellow and orange, and their abdomen might be grayish in color. Prevention is better than treatment. The government has spent millions of dollars and massive amounts of human resources to remove the exotic species. We urge citizens to think carefully before introducing any exotic plant or animal species into Taiwan.
所以，如果说我们让外来的这个鸟种进来，然后不幸它可以跟台湾的鸟种杂交的话，那将来我们要不然就是眼看着台湾的生物多样性减少，那要不然就是要花很大的努力来挽回因为杂交产生的问题。民众有关外来种的这个知识跟警觉度一定要提高。那相关单位呢，一定要加强在这方面的推广教育，才可以避免台湾珍贵的特有的这个生物多样性呢，不会受到外来物种的这个污染。台湾真的是一个非常了不起的地方。我们这么小的环境里，我们有的这个生物的种类、特有的种类非常的多。那甚至于有很多，即使还没有到种的程度，但是它跟其他的族群是不一样的。这个真的是值得全民大家一起来珍惜的。
Island species are prone to be impacted by exotic species invasions. From the above examples, we learned that many people introduced and kept non-native species to satisfy their personal desires, costing the nation and the world unnecessary expense. To better protect Taiwan's native species, no one should be allowed to smuggle exotic plants or animals into Taiwan or abandon exotic species in the environment, because the negative impacts are something no individual would want to be blamed for.